Okay, so this video is a look at the Rocketeer, Shadow and Phantom. I love comics and I love films, so when they make a comic book film, I'm in heaven. There's nothing new about them, as they've been making them for decades, and I like nearly all of them, including films such as Howard the Duck and the 90s Captain America the movie, which are often seen as weaker installments. Three I like in particular are three made in the early and mid-90s. The Rocketeer, the Shadow, and the Phantom. As you can see, I've managed to track down figures from those films. The Shadow was from a shop, and the other two I got off eBay. None of these films were hits in their day. As much as I love the Phantom, I can sort of see why that one didn't catch on, but the Rocketeer was a highly polished action-adventure film. How that wasn't a hit, I'll never know. I have these three figures on display next to each other, a bit like they are now, as I've always fantasized that they should have shared a sequel between them. As I said, none of these films were successful, so they didn't get any sequels, so there's no way they'd put three failures into the same film, but I can dream, can't I? It could work, as all three are from the same time zone, the 1930s. The Rocketeer is in LA, the Shadow in New York, and the Phantom in a tropical jungle. I thought what could bring them together is if they were all on the trail of the same villain. Some bad guy had made enemies of all three of them, and so they team up as a sort of mini 30s Justice League to defeat them. They all bring something to the table. The Rocketeer can fly, thanks to his rocket pack, and is a good scrapper. The Shadow is handy with his two guns, and can turn invisible when it's necessary. The Phantom is strong and athletic, also carries two guns, and is good with wild animals. I think they'd make an interesting little team. Another reason this will never happen is the rights. I seriously doubt these three characters are owned by the same company, but it's my fantasy, so who cares? Of course, the Phantom is no stranger to teams. He was in the 80s cartoon Defenders of the Earth, with Flash Gordon, Mandrake the Magician, Lothar, and all of their offspring. In fact, when I first heard about the Phantom film, my first thought was, where are all the other Defenders of the Earth? I had no idea he was a standalone comic book character in his own right. To be honest, I think he suits this team better, even if I do say so myself. Okay, so that was a look at the Rocketeer, Shadow and Phantom, and hopefully you'll join me on another video sometime.